America is so vast that most people never see even half of what it actually has to offer. Today, we count down 20 of the most beautiful places across all 50 states. We are covering glacier-carved valleys, painted deserts, southern coastlines, and wild Alaskan frontier, every region getting its moment. Some of these you know, others might completely surprise you. This list leans heavily on nature, because that is where America truly outshines the rest of the world. But a few unforgettable towns and cities earned their spot too. Stick around for the final three, they are simply unmatched. Save this for your own road trip planning and tell us in the comments which state you think got snubbed. Let's start the countdown at number 20. Number 20 is White Sands National Park in New Mexico. Nearly 300 square miles of blinding white gypsum dunes rising from the Chihuahuan desert floor. The sand here is not the usual quartz. It is gypsum crystal washed down from surrounding mountains, and it stays cool underfoot even on the hottest desert afternoons. At sunset, the dunes turn shades of pink and lavender, and rangers lead full moon hikes when the entire basin glows silver under a desert sky. Families slide down the dunes on plastic saucers sold at the visitor center, turning a stark desert landscape into an unlikely playground. Nearby White Sands Missile Range still tests rockets on occasion, closing the park briefly and adding a strange modern footnote to this ancient desert basin. Few places on Earth look quite this alien, a genuine white ocean of sand in the middle of the American Southwest. Number 19 is Badlands National Park in South Dakota, a jagged maze of striped rock spires and canyons carved from ancient seabed sediment. The layers reveal 75 million years of Earth's history at a glance. Erosion here moves fast by geological standards, roughly an inch a year, meaning the jagged peaks visitors see today will look noticeably different within a few human lifetimes. Bison, bighorn sheep, and prairie dogs roam the surrounding grasslands, one of the last places where the American prairie ecosystem survives largely intact. Sunrise sets the striped rock aglow in bands of red, orange, and gold, a color show that photographers plan entire trips around. The park sits inside the Pine Ridge Reservation region, land that holds deep significance for the Oglala Lakota people who have called this prairie home for generations. At night, the Badlands rank among the darkest skies in the country, drawing stargazers to lie back on the rock and watch the Milky Way stretch overhead. Few parks pack this much stark, otherworldly beauty into such an easily accessible loop drive just off the interstate. Number 18 is the Palouse region of eastern Washington. Rolling hills of wheat and lentil farmland arranged in patterns so smooth they look computer-generated. Nothing about this landscape is natural rock or canyon. It is pure agriculture. Ancient wind-blown soil called loess built these hills over thousands of years, creating some of the most fertile farmland in the entire country. Steptoe Butte rises above the hills like an island, and its summit road offers the single best panoramic view of the rolling green and gold patchwork below. Early summer paints the hills lime green, while harvest season in late summer turns them a deep golden wheat color. An entirely different landscape twice a year. Photographers descend on the region every June for the annual Palouse workshop season, chasing the exact combination of light and crop color that only lasts a few weeks. Small farming towns dot the hills, largely unchanged for a century, giving the whole region a quiet, timeless feel most visitors do not expect from the Pacific Northwest. It remains one of America's most underrated landscapes, proof that farmland itself can rival any national park for sheer visual drama. Number 17 is the Outer Banks of North Carolina, a chain of barrier islands stretching 200 miles along the Atlantic, constantly reshaped by wind and waves. Wild horses still roam some of its northern beaches. The islands have shifted position for thousands of years, swallowing entire towns and lighthouses, which is why the Cape Hatteras Lighthouse had to be physically relocated inland in the 1990s. Jockey's Ridge holds the tallest natural sand dune system on the East Coast, where visitors hang glide and watch sunset over Roanoke Sound from its shifting peak. This stretch of coast earned the nickname Graveyard of the Atlantic after claiming hundreds of shipwrecks, thanks to shifting shoals hidden just beneath the surface. Wild colonial Spanish Mustangs, descendants of horses stranded centuries ago, still graze freely on the beaches near Corolla, protected by a dedicated conservation herd. Fishing villages and quiet beach towns line the islands, still feeling remote despite sitting just a few hours from major East Coast cities. Few East Coast destinations combine this much raw, shifting natural drama with such an easy, laid-back beach town atmosphere. Number 16 is the Everglades in Florida, a slow-moving river of grass unlike any other ecosystem on the planet. It is the only place on Earth where alligators and crocodiles live side by side. Water flows almost imperceptibly south from Lake Okeechobee toward Florida Bay, spreading across a shallow limestone shelf to form endless sawgrass marsh. Airboat tours skim across the shallow water past alligators, herons, and the occasional elusive Florida panther, one of the most endangered cats in North America. Mangrove forests along the park's coastal edge form one of the largest continuous mangrove systems in the Western Hemisphere, nursery grounds for countless marine species. The Everglades face real threats from rising seas and altered water flow, making this fragile wilderness both a natural wonder and an active conservation battleground. Sunset over the sawgrass, with wading birds silhouetted against an orange sky, reveals a quieter, stranger beauty most visitors never associate with Florida. It remains one of America's most unique landscapes, a subtropical wilderness hiding in plain sight beneath one of its busiest states. Number 15 is Charleston, South Carolina, a coastal city where pastel colonial mansions line cobblestone streets shaded by ancient live oaks, draped in Spanish moss. Few American cities preserve this much history this beautifully. Rainbow Row's candy-colored merchant houses along the waterfront date back to the 1700s, among the oldest surviving architecture in the entire country. Horse-drawn carriage tours wind through the historic district past wrought iron gates and hidden garden courtyards, a slower pace of sightseeing that suits the city perfectly. Nearby plantations, difficult chapters of American history, are preserved as museums that confront the region's past directly while showcasing centuries-old oak-lined avenues. The Battery Promenade offers sweeping harbor views toward Fort Sumter, where the first shots of the Civil War were fired in 1861. Charleston's food scene, blending low country, Gullah, and Southern traditions, has turned the city into one of the most acclaimed culinary destinations in America. Few Southern cities balance heavy history and effortless beauty as gracefully as Charleston does, block after block. Number 14 is Acadia, a national park in Maine, the only place on the East Coast where rugged granite mountains meet the crashing Atlantic directly. Cadillac Mountain is the first spot in the entire country to see sunrise for part of the year. Glaciers carved this landscape thousands of years ago, leaving pink granite peaks, deep fjord-like inlets, and dense spruce forest packed into a surprisingly compact park. Thunderhole earns its name when incoming waves compress into a narrow rock channel, exploding upward with a boom that can be heard well before you see it. Lobster boats work the coastal waters just offshore, and nearby Bar Harbor serves some of the freshest lobster rolls anywhere in New England. Fall turns the park's hardwood forests brilliant red and orange against the gray granite and blue Atlantic, one of the most photographed autumn scenes in the country. Carriage roads, built by John D. Rockefeller Jr., wind through the park car-free. Still used today by hikers, bikers, and horse-drawn carriages exactly as intended. It remains proof that dramatic mountain and coastal scenery is not just a Western United States specialty. Number 13 is Niagara Falls, straddling the border between New York and Canada, where over 6 million cubic feet of water thunder over the edge every single minute. It remains one of the most powerful waterfalls on Earth, The American Falls and Horseshoe Falls together form the fastest-flowing waterfall in North America, carved by glacial meltwater roughly 12,000 years ago. The Maid of the Mist boat tour has carried visitors to the base of the falls since 1846, drenching passengers in spray just feet from the thundering water. At night, colored lights illuminate the mist rising off the falls, turning the whole gorge into a glowing, ever-shifting light show visible from both countries. The falls are slowly retreating upstream through erosion, moving roughly a foot every year, a process engineers now closely manage to preserve the landmark. Winter transforms the entire scene into a frozen wonderland, with ice formations building up along the banks, while the main falls keep thundering through the cold. Few natural landmarks combine this much raw power with this much easy walk-up accessibility for millions of visitors every year. Number 12 is the Great Smoky Mountains along the Tennessee and North Carolina border, America's most visited national park and home to more biodiversity than any other in the system. Its name comes from the natural fog that clings to the ridgelines. That signature blue haze comes from trees releasing organic compounds into the air, scattering light in a way that gives the mountains their smoky blue color. The park protects some of the largest remaining old-growth forest in the eastern United States, trees that predate European settlement by centuries. Historic log cabins and grist mills scattered through Cades Cove preserve the mountain culture of Appalachian settler families who once called these hollows home. Black bears, elk, and synchronous fireflies that flash in unison during a brief summer window draw wildlife watchers from around the world. Klingman's Dome, the park's highest point, offers a 360-degree view across the endless layered ridgelines on a clear day. Despite hosting more visitors than Yellowstone and Grand Canyon combined, quiet backcountry trails here still feel completely untouched. Number 11 is the Blue Ridge Parkway, a 469-mile ribbon of road connecting Shenandoah National Park to the Great Smoky Mountains through Virginia and North Carolina. It is often called America's favorite drive. The road follows the spine of the Appalachian Mountains, built deliberately without a single billboard or stoplight, preserving unbroken mountain views for its entire length. Mabry Mill, one of the most photographed spots on the entire route, pairs a rustic water wheel with reflections of fall foliage in its still pond. Wildflower blooms in spring, and rhododendron thickets in early summer transform the roadside meadows into rolling fields of color for weeks at a time. Overlooks along the parkway reveal layer after layer of blue-tinted ridgelines fading into the distance, the exact haze that gives the mountains their name. Small Appalachian craft communities along the route still produce traditional pottery, music, and woodworking passed down through generations of mountain families. Driving the full parkway end to end remains one of the great slow travel experiences left in the country. Number 10 is the Columbia River Gorge along the Oregon and Washington border, an 80-mile canyon cut by the Columbia River through the Cascade Mountains. Over 90 waterfalls tumble from its cliffs. Multnomah Falls, the tallest in the gorge at 620 feet, draws over 2 million visitors a year to its iconic footbridge crossing. Ancient volcanic activity and repeated glacial flooding carved the gorge's dramatic basalt cliffs, some of the most striking geology in the Pacific Northwest. Strong, consistent winds funnel through the gorge daily, making Hood River one of the top windsurfing and kiteboarding destinations in the entire country. Hiking trails wind behind several waterfalls and along ridgelines, with views stretching toward snow-capped Mount Hood in the distance. Vineyards and orchards line the gorge's eastern, drier end, taking advantage of the same dramatic elevation changes that shape its waterfalls. Few canyons anywhere pack this much waterfall density into such an easily explored, scenic stretch of highway. Number 9 is Mount Rainier in Washington, an active volcano rising over 14,000 feet above the Puget Sound region, its glaciers visible from downtown Seattle on a clear day. It is the most heavily glaciated peak in the contiguous United States. 25 major glaciers cling to its slopes, feeding rivers that supply water to millions of people across western Washington. Paradise, the park's most popular area, earns its name honestly. Wildflower meadows explode into color each July just below the mountain's permanent snow line. Geologists classify Rainier as a decade volcano, one of the most dangerous in the world due to its explosive potential and the dense population living downstream. Old-growth forests of Douglas fir and western hemlock ring the mountain's lower slopes, some trees standing for well over 1,000 years. Sunrise from the aptly named Sunrise Visitor Area paints the mountain gold and pink, framed by alpine lakes, still holding patches of summer snow. Few single mountains dominate their surrounding region's identity as completely as Rainier does for the entire Puget Sound. Number 8 is Redwood National and State Parks along the Northern California coast, home to the tallest trees on the planet. Some coast redwoods here exceed 350 feet, taller than a 30-story building. These trees can live over 2,000 years, meaning some standing today were already centuries old when the Roman Empire still ruled the Mediterranean. Coastal fog rolling in from the Pacific waters these groves daily, providing enough moisture to sustain the trees through California's increasingly dry summers. Roosevelt elk graze in open prairies scattered throughout the park, massive animals that look almost impossibly small beneath the surrounding tree canopy. Fern Canyon's 50-foot walls, covered edge to edge in dense green ferns, became famous after appearing in the original Jurassic Park film. Walking among trees this ancient and this tall creates a hush that visitors consistently describe as almost cathedral-like. Less than 5% of the original old-growth redwood forest remains, making every acre of this park an increasingly rare, irreplaceable landscape. Number 7 is Big Sur along California's central coast, where the Santa Lucia Mountains drop directly into the Pacific Ocean, along one of the most scenic highways in the world. Highway 1 clings to cliffs for 90 unforgettable miles here. Bixby Creek Bridge, one of the most photographed bridges in the country, arches gracefully over a steep canyon just above the crashing surf below. McWay Falls drops 80 feet directly onto a secluded beach, one of only a handful of waterfalls in the world that empties straight into the ocean. Redwood groves grow just inland from the coastal cliffs, creating a rare landscape where ancient forest and dramatic ocean views sit only minutes apart. Big Sur has drawn writers and artists for generations, including Henry Miller, whose former home is now a small library and cultural gathering spot. Sunset along this stretch of coast, with fog rolling through the cliffs and waves crashing far below, ranks among California's most iconic views. Few coastlines anywhere combine mountain, forest, and ocean scenery this dramatically in such a compact, drivable stretch. Number 6 is Sedona, Arizona, where towering red sandstone buttes glow like fire at sunrise and sunset against a backdrop of deep green juniper forest. Few desert landscapes anywhere match this color combination. Cathedral Rock and Bell Rock rank among the most photographed formations in the Southwest. They're layered red stone shaped by millions of years of erosion. Many visitors come specifically for Sedona's reputed energy vortexes, spots believed to hold unusual spiritual power, drawing seekers alongside hikers and photographers. Oak Creek Canyon cuts a green, water-carved gorge through the Red Rock Plateau, offering swimming holes and shaded trails just minutes from the desert heat. Pink Jeep tours have become a Sedona institution, bouncing visitors over rugged backcountry trails for close-up views of formations inaccessible by regular car. The town itself, low-rise and painted in earth tones by strict building codes, was deliberately designed not to compete with the surrounding red rock scenery. Few places make the desert feel this vivid, this colorful, and this alive at every hour of the day. Number 5 is Bryce Canyon in Utah, home to the largest concentration of hoodoos, tall, thin rock spires found anywhere on the planet. Thousands of these crimson pillars fill a natural amphitheater carved into the plateau's edge. Freeze and thaw cycles, occurring over 200 days a year at this elevation, slowly crack and sculpt the soft limestone into these strange spire formations. Sunrise Point and Sunset Point earn their names honestly. The hoodoos glow deep orange and pink as low light rakes across the amphitheater walls. Bryce sits at a high enough elevation to receive real snow, and winter photographs of white snow dusting the orange hoodoos have become some of the park's most iconic images. The park holds some of the darkest night skies in the country, hosting annual astronomy festivals beneath a Milky Way visible with the naked eye. Hiking the Navajo Loop Trail takes visitors down among the hoodoos themselves, walking through narrow slot passages between spires that tower overhead. Few landscapes on Earth look quite this much like a natural cathedral built entirely from red stone. Number 4 is Zion National Park in Utah, where the Virgin River carved a canyon with walls rising nearly 3,000 feet straight up from the canyon floor. Sheer red and cream sandstone cliffs tower on both sides of the road. Angel's Landing, one of the most famous and most dangerous day hikes in America, follows a knife-edge ridge with chain handholds and 1,000-foot drops on either side. The Narrows offers a completely different experience, wading directly through the Virgin River between canyon walls so close you can touch both sides at once. Zion's rock layers record nearly 200 million years of history, from ancient sand dunes to shallow seas, all compressed into the canyon's colorful stone. Free shuttle buses carry visitors through the main canyon most of the year, preserving the valley's quiet against the park's growing crowds. Bighorn sheep navigate the sheer cliff sides with ease, visible from the canyon floor, picking their way along ledges that look impossibly narrow. Few canyons combine this much vertical drama with such an accessible, walkable canyon floor running right through the middle of it all. Number 3 is Glacier National Park in Montana, where jagged glacier-carved peaks rise above turquoise alpine lakes along the Canadian border. Locals call it the crown of the continent for good reason. The Going to the Sun Road climbs over 6,000 feet through the park's heart, considered one of the most spectacular mountain drives ever engineered. The park's namesake glaciers are retreating rapidly due to a warming climate, and scientists estimate most may vanish entirely within decades, adding urgency to every visit. Grizzly bears and mountain goats roam terrain so rugged that much of the park's backcountry remains reachable only on foot, exactly as it has for centuries. Lake McDonald's impossibly clear water reveals a mosaic of colorful stones on its floor, visible from the surface even at significant depth. Many Glacier Valley concentrates some of the park's most dramatic scenery into a single accessible area, ringed by jagged peaks on nearly every side. Few American landscapes combine alpine drama and untouched wilderness quite as completely as this corner of Montana. Number 2 is Denali National Park in Alaska, home to North America's tallest mountain, rising over 20,000 feet above sea level. The mountain creates its own weather and stays hidden in clouds more often than not. Only a single 90-mile road cuts through the park's 6 million acres, and most of it is accessible only by shuttle bus to protect the surrounding wilderness. Grizzly bears, wolves, caribou, and Dall sheep roam largely undisturbed here, one of the last places in North America where a truly complete predator and prey system survives intact. Fall arrives early at this latitude, turning the tundra a deep crimson red by late August, weeks before autumn even begins in the lower states. Climbers attempting the summit face brutal, unpredictable weather, and only about half of those who try each year actually reach the top. On clear days, roughly 1 visitor in 3, the full mountain reveals itself in a sight so massive it can be seen from over 100 miles away. But as spectacular as Denali is, our final destination might be the single most iconic natural landscape in the entire country. Number 1 is Yosemite National Park in California. where granite cliffs, thundering waterfalls, and giant sequoias combine into what many consider America's single most beautiful landscape. El Capitan and Half Dome anchor a valley unlike any other on Earth. El Capitan's sheer granite face rises 3,000 feet straight up, drawing elite rock climbers from around the world to attempt routes that can take days to complete. Yosemite Falls, North America's tallest waterfall, thunders at over 2,000 feet in spring snowmelt season before slowing to a trickle by late summer. Giant sequoias in the Mariposa Grove rank among the largest living things on the planet, some over 3,000 years old and still growing today. Half Dome's granite face, split by ancient glacial ice, remains one of the most recognizable rock formations in the world, and a legendary hike for those who attempt its cables. John Muir's writing about this valley helped launch the entire American conservation movement, leading directly to the creation of the National Park Service itself. From tunnel view at sunset, the entire valley unfolds at once. Waterfall, granite dome, and forest in a single frame that has inspired photographers for over a century. That's our countdown of the 20 most beautiful places in the United States. From blinding white desert dunes to Alaska's tallest peak and California's granite crown jewel, every region of this country earned its spot on this list. Which of these 20 destinations is already on your bucket list, and which one completely surprised you? Tell us in the comments below. We genuinely read everyone. If this countdown helped with your own travel planning, please like this video and subscribe for more travel guides from Kahana Designs. It genuinely helps our small channel keep making these. Thank you so much for watching. And aloha from all of us at Kahana Designs. Until next time, safe travels, and go see your own country a little differently.